This I bought at Walmart, and it's 48 hours for 2 people, and it's breakfast, whatever. And I don't care what time of day you eat it, but it has a shelf life, I think, of 15 years or something like that. But there's I have 4 of them, and that's one option to keep on hand. But you're only with 4 of these containers, you're only looking at 16 days worth of food, and that's 1 meal a day. Is there anything that I haven't covered that you can think of?
I think you've covered the bases pretty well.
Oh, there is one thing.
Okay.
Smoking meat. You can build yourself a little smokehouse, and you can smoke pork, or you can smoke fish, and you can also smoke venison. That's something that, like I say, you're going to have to learn how to do. This is reinventing the wheel. And when you reinvent the wheel, it's a matter of, this might work great for me, but it isn't going to work good for you for whatever reason, whatever problems you're having. You don't want to, like I say, put a can on the shelf and then walk away and don't think about it. That's the wrong way to do survivalism. All of the spices you can get, because even if you don't eat some of the spices, you buy it and you can use it to trade. It's a trade item. Trade item here. There you go. That is mead. That's honey wine. And you can use that as a trade item. I have, I don't know, about 25 bottles of wine and a couple of bottles of liquor, vodka and tequila that can be used as trade items to trade to people for other food or other things such as toilet paper. You're going to discover that when the shit hits the fan, the first 3 things that you're going to miss is going to be soap, hot water, and toilet paper. That's all going to happen very quickly, within a week. So you can't make your own toilet paper, and I would suggest you stock up on it. That table right there is 4 cases of MREs that I just put there, and it wound up being a convenient place, little table to put stuff on, so I've never moved it. I guess I've covered just about everything that I can possibly cover. Let me show you a candle mold. These are candle molds. This one makes 8, that one makes 4, and the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, and that's about the most important people 100 years ago in any society. So the only thing you need is the wax and the cotton string to make the wicks. I'll put this back over here. All right, now if you cover this, macaroni and the spaghetti and noodles and all of that stuff, that you can combine things together and make a meal for 4 people, although it would not be a bad idea to keep on hand food, snack food for the kids. Actually, candy works very well for that. That kind of thing, because you need to feed the kids a little more in the morning than you do in the afternoon, but in the long term, you've got to give the kids a little extra vitamins and minerals and fat to let them develop properly. The water doesn't make any difference how much water you have on hand. The more you have on hand, the better you are. Why don't you take the camera and show them? This is just a fraction of the water. And beekeeping equipment, I keep the beekeeping equipment here in the living room because it's safer in here than it is if I put it outside. Because you have wax moths that will get into the wax foundation and that kind of thing, and you don't want to do that. You want to keep the foundation clean and pristine. Instant coffee, if you drink instant coffee like I do, get 10 jars of instant coffee and limit yourself to two cups of coffee in the morning. You're going to have to start eliminating how much you eat and drink to keep your stores from running out quick. You need to have at least a year's worth of food, salt, spices, and water on hand to get you through the first year, and hopefully you've learned enough and you've come up with enough solutions to get you through the rest of the time. If you're not growing a garden, like I say, if you're going to go hunting, that's the wrong thing to do, because you're just not going to have enough deer in the woods. Lewis and Clark, in their notes, said that every time they came across a large Indian village, there wasn't a piece of game within 25 miles because they were killing everything in sight and eating it. And the Indians, of course, didn't raise animals, and depending on where they were, they didn't grow food. This whole thing about them growing corn, the Indians in Canada can't grow corn. Most of the wheat that was brought into the United States or onto this continent after the Europeans arrived was brought here from Europe. What we brought back to Europe was things like potatoes, which is a high mountain food that was grown in South America on top of the mountains. Tobacco. Let's see what else. Well, out of the 135 plants and animals that we eat here in North America, or in Europe, I should say, 70 plants and animals were brought to Europe. Prior to that, the average diet for somebody in England and London was very poor. It was lentils and cabbage, asparagus, wheat, barley, and rye, oats, grapes, and apples. That's not much of a diet. In Asia, rice. So all of this other stuff came from the U.S. Corn, and potatoes, and anything that involves growing it with the corn, like beans, squash, and corn were grown together, and they were grown in hills. Don't get out there with a tractor or a horse and try to plow up 20 acres of land. That isn't how the corn was intended to be grown. Corn was intended to be grown in a hill where you took a crap in the hole, covered it over, and then planted your beans, squash, and corn, or you buried fish in. Growing the corn in hills with 4 to 6 corn plants per hill is far more efficient and far less work than you're going to find doing it the way the farmers do it today. And the reason why the farmers plow the ground today is simply because everything is mechanized, and if you plant it in hills rather than in rows, you can't go in and cultivate it. You can't go in and you can't go in easily and harvest the corn, that kind of thing. So this is the way you want to do it. The one thing I will tell you about is if you're going to plant your corn the way the Indians planted it in hills, you go out, you girdle a tree, and that means you go out and you take about 8 inches of bark off of the tree around it, and the tree will eventually die, and you plant your hills of corn under the tree. Then in 3 or 4 years, the term windfall, that tree will fall over and it will produce firewood. You don't want to get into this idiocy of going out and cutting trees down and stacking up cords of wood to heat your camp or your house, or whatever you're living in, unless you absolutely have to do it. People would go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. Why? Because you can't see at 8 o'clock at night unless you're going to burn candles or oil lamps or something like that. And they got up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, and they go out and they take care of their stock, that kind of thing. They making candles and butchering hogs and doing whatever you have to do to stay alive. You're going to go back to a older way of life. The whole thing that people don't realize is that mustard, ketchup, relish, that was all invented because people were buying chicken that had been hanging on a wall for a week and it tasted absolutely terrible. So you put ketchup or mustard on it or whatever to eat it. Soy sauce, same thing. Remember that without refrigeration on meat, unless you are going to smoke it or dry it, it's or you're going to pack it in salt, you're going to find that it's going to go bad very, very quick in the summertime. In the wintertime, you're going to hang it up off of a tree and let it freeze. Do that kind of thing, or you can can it. And I don't have a problem with canned meat whatsoever. Canned meat works very well and lasts very long and will last a long time. Oh, baking soda. Make sure you stock up on baking soda. Not 1 or 2 boxes, 20 or 30 boxes, because you may need this for all sorts of things. As a deodorizer, as a additive to whatever you're cooking, that calls for the baking soda.
Brushing our teeth.
Pardon? Brushing
Brushing
your
teeth.
That kind of thing. So baking soda is another idea or another product that you should be stocking up on.
Okay, we're going to have to cut it short today here.
All right.
If we need to, we can come back next Saturday and do another series on food.
No, I think I've covered it.
Okay, and so the next week we'll be talking about guns and ammo and what you'll need, what kind of guns you might need to buy depending on what you're looking to hunt, protection, and we'll tune in with Harvey Tallman, our American survivalist, next Saturday. You guys tune in for more survival tips and tricks that will get you through any survival situation that you come to. Thank you for your time and thank you for joining. Have a great week.